Now, talking about the miraculous, when you go to Christian events in Africa, in Asia, in South America, you see phenomenal testimonies of healing, of deliverance. Why is that kind of level of operation not happening in the Western world?
Well, I can tell you from personal experience, okay? Now, first of all, I have been where, I'll say minor, miraculous events have occurred. I've heard of the dead being raised, and when we went to Russia in the 90s, we heard of a couple of cases in Siberia. But the real answer to the question is not whether it happens, but that there's an inverse relationship. It's like the teeter-totter in a children's playground, okay? The more materialistic people become, the less spiritual they are.
Wow.
And so when I went to Russia, I started going to Russia in July of '94. Went for 25 years. At the moment, I can't get back in there. I hope to in the future, but only God knows. But I went 59 times. And in the 90s, we got there when Russia was absolutely crushed, economically, militarily, ego, you know, and their money was absolutely worthless. You know, the dollar was king in those days, or the pound. I mean, either one of us could have gone over there. In those days, for $10, I could buy you a good four-person meal at a decent restaurant. As I say, you could buy anything over there, including a nuclear bomb, if you had enough money. But the thing that relates to your question is that they had nothing. Now, when you have nothing, the only thing you can rely on is the supernatural.
Wow.
Right? And as Christianity, as Protestants, Christianity took hold, they started to prosper because they started to have the Judeo-Christian work ethic, right?
Yeah.
But initially, we were hearing of miracles and were involved, at least in some minor things, where God intervenes. I mean, a miracle is when God does something you can't, right? But He expects you to do everything else. Right? You know, He doesn't do it just because you want Him to, and you say, well, it'd be really nice if I had a steak. He says, no, if you want a steak, you have to earn the money to go out and buy one.
That's right.
But when there are things that we cannot do for ourselves, that's when God intervenes.
Praise God.
And again, when you have nothing, I mean, believe it or not, I saw Russia when they didn't even pay people to work. And to put it very bluntly, they were so bad off that if you worked at a plant making something, I don't care what it was, clothes, they paid you in clothes. And then you had to go out and sell it to get money.
Okay, wow.
There was a time in Russia early on in the 90s when the workers, men or women, either one, would go to wherever they worked. And their spouse would come at noon and collect the money for their work that they were being paid for in the morning, and then go buy food or whatever they needed. And they'd come back and get the pay at the end of the day for the work in the afternoon, because during the afternoon, the value of the money had depreciated.
Yeah.
And I saw those things.
Wow.
And when you're in that situation, it becomes easy to rely on the supernatural because you've got nothing else to rely on.
Wow, I agree with you totally. Because I was in Africa once, and in the middle of the night, some people were praying fervently all through the night. In the morning, I was asking, I said, what happened to those guys? They were busy. I could see they were desperate. So somebody wasn't feeling well. They didn't have the money to go see a doctor. And
right.
So they prayed till the morning, and the person was okay in the morning.
Yeah.
I thought, wow.
Well, but again, Jesus said that you will do the same things that I have done. And he prayed and raised people from sick beds all over the place.
Praise
right?
God. Yeah. God bless you, sir.